Before I even start my topic, I need to tell you guys to keep an open mind for this topic. Even though this is not a persuasive speech, it is an informative speech. But what is required, even when passing out information, the people who listen to it actually grasp it and want to listen to it. I want to start my presentation with a magic show. Everyone likes magic, right? So now I have raw material and now I'm going to create something out of this raw material. So I keep it inside, take it out a little bit, and what do we get? Wow, voila! Magic! This is the atheist argument, that something can be created out of nothing. And this is actually, I actually put in raw material and shaped it. But what about the raw material? Where was that acquired from? Please change. Why is it important to know why God exists or not? The reason for our existence. So what in this presentation, I'll be stating what are the actual reasons for believing in God and not just blind faith. The new agnosticism actually takes a good stand. It says that we either believe in a God and we don't. They don't know whether they exist. The reason for that is it is essential for an atheist to understand all of the theist arguments, because it wouldn't be good if you compete with people who are not even good theists and who do blind following and then state that you're the best in that field and you can question whether God exists or not. Angelo Corlett, my philosophy professor, states that without consciousness, we wouldn't be humans. This consciousness, this understanding of whether what is right and wrong is essential from a topic, because as thinking human beings, we derive our own conclusions. Observance of God through nature, intelligent design. For me to believe in God, it's not essential that I give lengthy arguments for that. It can be seen in nature, it can be seen in the human body. You don't have to see everything that you believe in. For example, if I talk about anger, love, and pain, can you see that? But will you say that, no, it doesn't exist? What about force of gravity? It was happening a lot of time. People were seeing that an object, when you throw it up, it falls down. Newton observed it and derived conclusions and stated that this gravity exists and that's the reason the object falls down. It is similar to the existence of God, which is observed in the nature, the concept of intelligent design. If I take my argument to space, there exists a microgravity in space which binds all of the planets together. So, next slide. Haley, one of the theists, questions atheism and states, how could such a complex and intrinsically related natural world exist without a supernatural creator and sustainer? Philosophical argument. Before you guys go to sleep, I'll point out to the sources of knowledge: intuition, sense perception, intellect. Knowledge can be derived from either of these three sources of knowledge. Intuition is our known knowledge, the concept of bad and evil, the concept of right and wrong. If people do not teach us whether doing something bad or killing someone is wrong, we don't need a reason to believe that it is wrong. Sense of perception, which is touch, taste, it can be any. And then intellect is what combines these information together, which is intuition and sense perception, and that's how you derive your conclusions, and that's how you also derive your conclusions to the existence of God when you look at the world around you. Theory of evolution and the Big Bang. Now, theory of evolution takes a lot of hit from critics and who are theists, because some of them believe that it actually goes against the existence of God. And the Big Bang, even if I say that it's not a theory, it's a scientific fact. This theory actually answers the how phenomenon, not the why. Why is this world? What are we doing here? Why do some people get everything they want and some people get nothing? It's a question to ask. And claims which might weaken my argument. Complete disregard of human intellect. I said, it's essential. Miracles are the only reason to believe in God. I said, the world is a miracle. You don't require. Nature lovers will agree with me that everything can be observed in nature. God does favoritism. You'll see all the religions claiming that my religion is the best. If you don't believe in that, you will burn in hell like a bitch. I could have just stated burn in hell, but I just wanted to add humor because I failed at humor the last presentation. While it may be true that reason without faith is incomplete, it is surely true that faith absent reason is shallow theology disguised as genuine. It is essential to argue with yourself and to reason, to point out what is the thing that we are lacking at. And when you can question everything, whether the next boy or girl likes you or not, why can't you question like whether God exists or not? It is essential. Next slide. Yeah, I'm thirsty. It's a poor advertisement of God's message to claim that accidental faith will enable some people to get eternal paradise and others eternal hell. Wow, I've heard this a lot. Crap, nonsense. That's my teacher, Dr. Khalid Zahir. Now my partner Shaojin will speak on atheism because I wanted to give everyone an idea of both theism and atheism. And unless you know both the arguments, it will be cheating. Go ahead.
Now I want to talk about some common questions about the existence of God. And first is, if God truly exists, then why does he let innocents die? Second is, what about nature parameters? And third is, imperfect God. And the last one is, maybe the deceased don't realize the importance of human life. Okay. The first is came from the book called The God Delusion, which written by Richard. And here is an interesting topic, is that the reason why we don't believe in God because there is no enough evidence to support the existence of God. So we all know that religions they just tell you one after another story about God creation or other things, what the world forms, but they never explain why the things will happen like that. So we will find out that there is no evidence to support their theory, and the difference between science and religion is science they have a lot of experiments or theory and study to support their claim, but the religions just cannot have everything to support. And the second is there are so many conflicts in religions. For example, in Hinduism, there are two creators. Some people believe it is Brahma creates human and all living beings, but some other Hindus believe that it is the son of Brahma creates the humans. So there is something like the conflicts in one religion. And also we all know different religions have their own belief. They believe in different gods. So they all say their God creates human, but we all know that human can only be created by one God or in one way. They can't create by this God and this God. It doesn't make sense. And we all know that there are a lot of scientific facts and which has already been proved like in religious stories, they said God created the light. One day God just said, "Let there be light," and the light just appeared in the darkness. But we all know that now you ask the people why we can see the light, they will answer you that because of the sun. Now we all know the sun is why the reason light exists. So that is something that can have been proved wrong. And the second is the creation stories. After scientists spend decades, years to studying and research, they find human beings actually is a descendant of chimpanzees because we share a lot of similar genes. So it's another thing has been proved that the creation stories doesn't make sense.
Okay, so Xiaojun, are you telling me that everything got created by chance? Or this is the thing that atheists try to attack religions instead of, when they try to attack theism, they combine all the religions into one and state that God doesn't exist.
In my opinion, there's nothing created by chance. There must be some rules or facts that can be traced. Just something we still need to find out, but that doesn't mean that it happened by chance. And that, could you answer my questions? At first, how do you answer the most important question, that the creation story? Do you think God created human?
The thing about creation is that God created a process. The first human being has to come from somewhere. Even if you look into the evolution theory, everything God created from a prokaryotic cell. That's how the beginning took place. I said, it answers the how phenomenon, it doesn't answer the why. Why is prokaryotic cell developed into so many life forms, including mammals, primates, and whatnot? Anthropology 101, difficult subject. But the thing is, it doesn't answer why. Why is all these things happening? Are they happening without any external intervention?
Okay. And then how do you think about the conflict between religions?
The conflict between religions is something man-made. God, to question the existence of God, you do not have to get into discussions between different religions. Once you establish the fact that God exists, then you can start looking into various arguments, whether which religion may be right or wrong.
And can you explain me about the innocent people die? Why innocent people die?
Why innocents die? Well, this question can't be answered because by establishing a day of judgment, but that is after you establish there is a God. Without a day of judgment in which people will be decided on the basis of the good and evil they do, the concept of God falls apart in terms of justice. That day, everyone will come to know, and when innocents die, I do realize, but the concept of death is something undeniable. Every one of us will die today, someday, and then we need to understand that when innocents die, and it is unfortunate, and theists do realize it. But even when earthquakes happen, God created in humans this imperfect order that the earth will end and life will end. This is an imperfect life, but it will go, you will have a permanent life. But I said, first you answer the question of a creator, and then you can get into day of judgment.
Okay.
All right, so I just want to point that do not leave us, because the last time I believed in humans, the world didn't end. It didn't. So, derive your own conclusions. We just tried our best. Thank you.